Fridays.
That would be good, because my
Yep, I remember.
Control A, Control C.
What, you're not working out at the fire station?
I only work every third day.
Yeah, you're used to doing that, not me. Well, welcome, everybody. First and foremost, Happy New Year to you all. Hopefully your resolutions are still going strong if you made one. I'd like to welcome our audience tonight as well as everybody watching the live stream. Since this is the first Board of Education meeting of the year, we will need approval to have Dave serve as temporary chairperson to convene this meeting through action item 1V.A.1.
I move approval, that we approve Dave Schramer.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right. Well, thank you, and Happy New Year to everyone. And I believe I'll just let you have the floor.
Yeah. January is a special month here in the state of Michigan as we celebrate School Board Recognition Month. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for your service and dedication to governing Vicksburg Community Schools and serving our community to ensure our precious students receive the best education possible in safe and secure environments. Thank you so much for filling these important roles. On behalf of the entire VCS family, thank you. Included in your folders, we have a certificate of appreciation from VCS and also the proclamation from Governor Whitmer proclaiming January as School Board Appreciation Month. So thank you all so much. And as a small token of our appreciation, there's a gift in front of you. If one of you would be willing to show everybody out in the audience what you got this year. Yeah.
It's lovely. And it's soft.
I feel like I'm from Ravenclaw. It's great, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Once again, and speaking for myself, I can't thank all of you enough for your leadership, your guidance, and your support of our mission and vision. Thank you. Just wanted to get to the legislative front, kind of a recurring theme. It's very quiet in Lansing. Legislature just returned last week. I did include the School Equity Caucus newsletter from December in your packet. We certainly anticipate activity ramping up here over the next several weeks. I do know next week there's a midwinter conference, MASA, and we should have plenty of legislative updates that'll come from that. So stay tuned, I'll keep you posted. Also exciting news for those of you that have been kind of following. Our goal is to go out in May of this year for a bond. And in your packet, I included our draft Vicksburg bond proposal, the ballot. We're still working through it. Again, this is a draft, but I wanted you to be aware of that. Feel free to send me any suggestions via email. Steve and I will be meeting with our attorneys again tomorrow afternoon to finalize this language, which we will bring to the board next Monday, the 19th, at our special meeting at 5:30 for approval. So I will keep you posted as we go through that, but hopefully tomorrow we'll legally have this ballot squared up and ready to be sent to the township by the deadline. So thank you for that. I just wanted to draw your attention to our important dates page that I included in your packet. This Wednesday, we have a half day for students. And then the afternoon, we're going to have professional development for our staff. And please put on your calendar, the Pathways High School winter graduation will be next Wednesday, the 21st, at 6 o'clock in the PAC. Love to see you all there. Just a reminder, next week, we will be wrapping up the first semester. Hard to believe. We're almost halfway done. Next Thursday, the 22nd. And then no school for students on Friday, the 23rd, which will serve as a records day for our staff. And then the second semester, we will begin on Monday, the 26th. And finally, Battle of the Books. Tamara's in charge of the Battle of the Books. And Tamara, how many teams do we have from
21
Vicksburg?
I just know we have 21 total.
21 total?
I haven't done the breakdown of each school.
We'll get you an idea of how many teams will be participating from our elementary and middle school shortly. Again, that starts on January 31st. That's always a good time for our kids. And with that, Dave, that's my report.
Thank you. Steve, are you okay if I put you on hold? We've got a lot of young gentlemen over there that I think-
Absolutely, yep, no, that sounds good.
Because you're in it for the duration, and they would like to present and go home. Why don't we do the robotics now, because I'm anxious to see what you guys are up to, and gals.
Ooh. Nice.
Oh, wow.
This is about 1/3 of the Vicksburg robotics team, the Control Freaks. Could you use the microphone, please? This is about 1/3 of your Vicksburg robotics
team, the Control Freaks. I've got a handful of seniors, juniors, new team members, old team members, and they've got a little something to present to you. So, go ahead. You guys step up to the microphone.
I'm Brady. I'm a senior. I've been in robotics for 8 years. And, yeah, I plan to be an engineer.
I'm Emmett. I'm also a senior. Been in robotics for 8 years, and I'm going into mechanical engineering.
Nice.
My name's Quincy Schwartz. This is my first year. I just found the team. I was in the robotics class last year and this year, and with all the new space and all the new things that we have, I thought it'd be a great idea to join. I wanted to go to college to pursue engineering, and I thought this was a great way to start getting into that.
Hi, I'm Avi Huff. This is my 8th year in the program, and I'm a senior, and I will be studying data science in the future.
Hello, I'm Caleb Bombig. This is my 7th year in the program. I'll be going into music, but I know I will definitely be using some of the skills I've learned in the robotics program that will help me out in my future, and yeah.
I'm Mitchell. This is my 7th year in this program, and without this program, I would have never known I'd want to go into structural engineering.
So despite the fact that these guys are 4 years in high school, 3 years in high school, 7 years in the program is because they've been doing this since they were in elementary school. One of the developments we've had this year is I found somebody who is willing to take on the program for the elementary program. That program actually reaches down as far as kindergarten. So it's an exciting expansion for the year, so we actually have programs that go from kindergarten all the way up to high school. So we did bring our robot here for you guys today. A couple of people are going to go turn it on, and we'll give you a little demonstration, and we'll give you some more details about the program.
So just last year, we got our new shop that we currently have, and with that comes lots of new things. We have new tools, and we also got a field that's about the size of our old shop. And up front, it was a pretty big investment. I think it was about $5,000. We invested in powder coating, and just to make it last a while. And it makes it's nice because we can drive a robot in places instead of just a hallway or classroom, and not worry have to go wrecking anything.
Just for perspective, so they know the size difference where we practiced before and where we're practicing now.
I don't know the dimensions are. Oh, yeah, it'd be about the size of this. It's not much. It was enough, but enough's not great. Now we have 2/3 of the field, I believe. So it's much more space now.
So we're going to enable this robot. You guys in the front row, just hold the chairs if it goes crazy. We've slowed it down to what speed, Aiden? 0.025% of full speed. We don't even think we'll use full speed in competition. So, but here, we'll just give you a demonstration of how the robot
I wanna see
moves.
full speed.
Second that.
Full speed is dangerous.
We rammed it into the field wall going full speed.
Go ahead.
All right, 3, 2.
So what you see is some really nice, smooth movement from a chassis that's called Swerve Drive. This is a chassis we've been developing for about 4 years, and we finally mastered it last year. The programming is pretty intense for it to get it to move like that. So what Aiden is doing to get it to move in that direction, he's pushing the joystick in that direction. It doesn't matter which way the robot is rotated, it will always go in that direction. It's called field-oriented drive. Makes it a lot easier for the driver to operate it. Aiden,
Now, Matt, is it required during competition as it's moving to have a blinking light?
So it is. That's the robot, or the robot signal light.
Okay.
It tells everybody the robot is activated, and it's only supposed to be activated inside the field perimeter. They've got a lot of rules for safety, which is really important, which is one of the nice things about our new field, is here in the school when we're practicing, we're able to use those safety standards right here and prevent injuries.
Very good.
So Aiden, will you get up here real quick and tell them about the vision system?
So this year, we bought 4 cameras to build a vision system. There's only 2 of them on there right now, but eventually we'll get 2 more. It'll be able to view 360, and there's these things called April tags that it can find it. It's like a QR code, but it can easily find it. And if there's enough of them that it can see, it can get its position on the field accurately. So it can know if you tell it to go to this position, it can accurately create a path to go to that position. It's really useful to automate some tasks of it moving automatically so you don't have to manually move it to a position.
How many other robots are on the field during the competition?
There's 6 total robots, so 5 other.
Yeah, just to give you guys an idea of the size of this game, it's about the size of a basketball court. So we take about half of the basketball court and do most of our competition over there, but other robots can come into your side, crash into you, try to keep you from scoring. So there's a lot of strategy involved. Some of it does involve some vigorous pushing and shoving. It's not battle bots. There's not supposed to be any intentional damage, but there can definitely be some soccer type gameplay on the field.
So our old space, we were super grateful for, and it served our purposes for a long time. But with this new space, we're able to accomplish a lot more, and everything about the program is much easier. Like they said before, we didn't even really have much of a competition space to practice on. A lot of our practice actually came from our first match in competition. So being able to practice in-house is really nice. Loading our robot is much easier. One time we even had to take off part of the door just to get our robot and everything through the door.
Where were you before and where are you now with your?
Before we were mostly in the portable by the middle school.
Okay.
And then also partly, we had shared access with the wrestlers in the wrestling room inside of there. And now we're currently in the old shop here in the high school.
Does the ceiling height make a difference for you guys too?
Oh, yeah.
How so?
So this year, we actually have a shooting game where we have to project balls up into the air and into a goal. The ceiling height in the old shop, we couldn't even stand up our competition supports. We literally had to like push them into the ceiling almost just to get them up so we could build our pit area. But also the balls, if we were to shoot them in there, they just wouldn't be able to, we wouldn't be able to score at all or even practice scoring.
Yeah, just follow up for that. So that's what makes it such a game changer, is being able to practice here at the school, refine our autonomous routines, refine our shooting routines, get our mechanisms working just perfectly. You know, he was talking about the ceiling height. The balls would just bounce off the ceiling. It was just a showstopper, you know. So I think Avi will finish this up here.
Just as a note of comparison, this new space that we've been given is comparatively much larger than that of a lot of other robotics programs in the area. So we are super grateful for that. And also, as someone who is graduating this year, as sad as I am to be graduating, I am also so happy that this program now has such a big space, because I know that that guarantees a strong and stable future for this program. So thank you for your time.
I was just wondering if this also helps you kind of recruit the younger kids, you know, sort of internal recruiting, because they can come over and see what you're up to and go, oh, I want to do that in 6th, 7th, in middle school or elementary.
Yeah, so like I said, we're expanding the program. Right. Additionally, we're expanding our class offerings. Next year, we're proposing the expansion into the 8th grade for the robotics and applied engineering class. And we do find that success in our program accelerates and magnifies the number of new 6th graders we get into the program, the new 4th and 5th graders we get into the program. For example, one of our student pairs programmers have a record going of 3 straight years going to a state competition. And we have found that just a year after we go to a state competition, the number of attracted students to the program almost doubles. So it just really compounds itself.
That's great.
Just curious, how do you guys use AI or don't use AI?
So this year we are using AI a lot. It is really profoundly
use it
affected
too, so.
our ability to do programming for the most part. I mean, tasks that, we've got brilliant programmers. These guys have been programming for years without it. So we already have a solid base of knowledge, but now we can use AI to just really accelerate our productivity. A task that would take us 3 days to do, we can complete in about 10 minutes. It's profound. So really the challenge is trying to figure out, how do you roll that into the classroom? How do you properly instruct students who are going to see this in their future, that is going to be their future, it's not going away? How do we roll that out? That's something that Mr. Pavogel and I are trying to figure out in the classroom right now.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Matt, could you tell us a little bit about, how you design and manufacture parts for the robot? And, I mean, it's pretty impressive.
So all of these parts are designed and manufactured right here in this high school. I'm looking at there's some off-the-shelf parts, but you can see the red plastic parts are 3D printed. All of the clear plastic parts, we have a CNC machine that we use to cut those parts out. They're all designed in Fusion 360. All of the students that are taking my class right now have been learning the fundamentals of Fusion 360. I'm personally excited about that aspect because they've had a full semester of training in Fusion 360 and the engineering design process. And for the second semester of the class, the students that are in my class and in this program will be using this project as their semester project. So they're going to be contributing all of the CAD, all of the programming, and all the manufacturing for this project. And it, alleviates a lot of the load off the mentorship, which is where it should be. It should be in these guys' control. We've just been lacking in the ability to give them that training, the training that would be best done in the off season when we're not competing. We now have a place to do that.
Matt, can you explain to the group, I've got a little inside knowledge, but this is just the chassis. This is just the base of the robot that drives around. But as the students were describing, they have a shooting competition. So they have to actually design, manufacture, and operate all of the shooting mechanical aspects that will be added to this chassis for the competition. So that's next.
Fair point.
Where are you at in that process?
This is TestBot. That's its name. It doesn't even have any bumpers. It is simply rigged up with a vision subsystem that we can use for training our algorithms on the field. And then on the front, you see all those holes. That's for dropping in modular mechanisms that we design for our competition robot. In the meantime, we're also designing a second chassis that will be used for competition. Who would like to talk about this year's challenge? Just give them a quick run through of what this, Emmett's going to tell you what this year's challenge looks like and what we're scheming up.
So basically, this year, our challenge is to take balls that are 6 inches in diameter, and at a time, there's 400 of them on the field. You can hold 48 of them in your robot, and our goal is to shoot them in this hexagon that's about 6 feet in the air. So we're currently designing a robot that can pick them up off the floor efficiently, store them, and then also release them into the goal efficiently. Then, in endgame, which is the last 30 seconds of the challenge, there is a ladder climb where we have to get our robot 2-3 feet off the ground, completely supported by whatever mechanism we build.
Did I hear you correctly, Emmett? You said you're going to build a robot that's going to hold 48 6-inch diameter balls and have it shoot those balls?
That's the goal, yeah.
And would the chassis be the same size?
No. So this chassis is a lot smaller. Competition, you can have up to a 110-inch perimeter, frame perimeter. So it'll be between 25 and 27.5 inches on each side.
You may have to make it climb a 2 to 3 foot ladder.
Yeah. And you can only extend up to 30 inches. So total, you can only be 30 inches, even with extension. So we have to make it progressive, where we're actually going up the ladder and not just reaching to the top.
And it has to wash Mr. Bond's truck, right? That's what it's supposed to do. You said you were going to make him do that.
So does it look like A human, I mean, with arms and legs, or no?
No,
Okay, I know nothing about this, so.
no.
When is-
It looks like Stephen Curry when they're done.
Yeah. We haven't finalized the design yet, and we're still in the design process right now because competition, the game challenge was actually released Saturday. So, but we're currently thinking a dual hook system where one will reach up, pull it up, and then the second one will reach up, and then, yeah,
When is the competition?
about 9 weeks away.
Where is it?
So there can be several locations. Our home location is in Battle Creek, Lakeview High School,
Oh, nice, okay.
but we have traveled for competitions in the past, as far as Muskegon, Troy.
Gotcha.
Have you had some success, Mr. Vomich, with partnering with some businesses locally to help you? Because some of these parts are not cheap. And some of-
So we have a running agreement with R.W. Lapine. Their custom metal fabrication shop will produce any laser cut metal part for us, and generally speaking, have it ready by lunchtime, depending on their workload. So we try to not over ask when they give us such a good turnaround time, because it's pretty important when you're competitively building robots. We are also looking into some other connections right here in town. So I've already had some offers for water jet services. But yeah, I really like that RW Pine connection because it's so fast.
Any other questions? This is really impressive. And I'm going to have to wander down and look after, now that you've painted and taken possession of that space. I saw it before it was remodeled, and it's exciting stuff.
For the next 9 weeks, Monday through Thursday, we'll be in that shop roughly 2:30 until 8:30.
Oh, okay.
So it's a pretty good commitment. If you guys want to come in and stop in and see us, we'd be happy to have you.
Bring them some pizza.
We'll
Is
roll
that
out the red
entrance-
carpet.
Is that the cost of entrance?
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Well, it sounds like all of you are pretty excited about this program. I love seeing the smiles, and I'm glad we were able to get you the space you need. And I just want to say good luck this season. Hopefully we can come on out and see you in action. I'm excited to see this come together.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
I'm dating myself, but I remember in college when we had to write a Fortran 7-line program with key punch cards. And I thought, this computer stuff is not going to go anywhere. This is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
Slightly wrong on that one. That's really impressive. It's going to be neat to see what they do. So, Steve, we've made your job harder because you have to follow.
Oh, yeah, we're just warming up for the good stuff.
So go ahead.
Budget update. Included in your packet, and I'm going to make these fairly brief this evening, but you've got the general fund budget progress report that takes us through the end of December, or the first 6 months of our fiscal year. And on a year-to-date basis, revenue came in $12,057,561, more or less on target with what we expected. On the expenditure side, instructional expenditures came in just under 7.8 million, just over a third of our anticipated total for the year. Support services, 6,477,565. And then you can see the breakdown there for athletics and community services. So on a year-to-date basis, total expenditures are just shy of 15 million. And you can see that, there's a mid-year shortfall of approximately 2.9 million. Of course, when we compare to last year, we're tracking generally the way we would expect, with the one big change that we've talked about a few times, and that would be the purchase of school buses last year in one transaction that was about $1 million. Looking at the second page of that report, simply breaks down expenditures by object code, and total salaries and benefits year-to-date, just short of $12 million, pretty comparable to where we were at this time last year. And then you can see the allocation for purchase services, supplies, capital outlay, and other. So again, year-to-date expenditures, 14,959,000. Are there any questions on that? All right, if not, then I'll move to the investment report. Very similar to what we've seen in prior months. We have the district's investments outside of bank, checking accounts. These are broken down by individual fund. The main thing here is, we continue to spend down the bond proceeds as we'd expect. We currently have just over $2 million in debt retirement funds. And, we try to maximize those earnings because, we pay principal and interest twice a month, November 1st and May 1st. So that gives us a little bit of opportunity to keep those dollars earning as much as they can. And then finally, general fund investments totaled $4.26 million. So we still have, a comfortable amount of investments there. As we progress through the fiscal year, it's likely, or at least reasonably possible, we'll start moving some additional money back to the investment just to maximize those earnings while we can, and just based on the timing of cash flow and everything else. As far as interest rates, they continue to just kind of trend downward, although they're still, I would say for liquid investments, they're still pretty attractive relative to the market. For any of us with, money market funds, these funds tend to do a little bit better than that. We'd like to see those, rates continue to generate as much income as we can, but that's essentially out of our control. So be interesting to see where rates go forward. From here, I think, we'll just have to see how things play out. And there's, a lot of discourse and dialogue about interest rates these days, so we'll just have to see. Any questions on that?
Is there any projects earmarked for the 22-24 building and site funds, or are those kind of projects are kind of wrapped?
There are still projects that'll happen. Most of our projects, we've got a break, between fiscal years, just because of the short construction season.
Yep.
So at this point, we're still spending those down, and, we are working with the architects and construction managers on some additional projects to wrap up. So we do anticipate, fully utilizing those as we gear up. And it should be, assuming a successful bond proposal, this should almost provide kind of a seamless, stream of funding.
Bridge to that.
Yeah.
This just roll into that.
We'll keep them separate, just from an accounting standpoint, because there are, without going into the weeds, there are arbitrage requirements with the federal government in terms of, the bonds are tax exempt, so there are limits on how much interest income we can earn. And so we, effectively, we have to keep them separate, but we can allocate project costs between the funds, so, if that makes any sense,
Yeah.
Ron. But, yep. Any other questions on that? All right, if not, then that'll conclude my report.
Would you make a comment? We have an action item on 4 about some purchase cards. You want to just give some background on that?
Yeah, thank you. So I think as everybody's pretty familiar, the district operates a purchase card program, credit cards, that we use for, we use them in a couple of ways. Most of the cards are out there to facilitate quick, easy purchasing for small sort of incidental things. So that day-to-day needs can kind of be met without, running purchase orders for every transaction. It generates some efficiencies and the ability for people to manage their budgets within their departments. There are 2 of the cards that we use more from an accounts payable standpoint, where we, they may be large invoices that we have issued purchase orders for, but we will use the purchase card where it works with the vendor to help from a cash flow standpoint, because then it sort of pushes out the payment of those. So in an environment like today where we are generating interest income, it helps us to continue to generate interest. But it also helps smooth out when, low points during cash flow and everything else. The two cards that we'd like to request are just basically out of need. Our Performing Arts Center director and the band director end up having to, rely on other people's cards, whether that's the high school, the principal's office, or my card, and that just creates some challenges. So as we've worked internally, we'd like to add those two cards because they just are really needed from an operational standpoint. We do earn rebates. The rebates are okay. They're not, not as, it's hard as an entity of our size to get the kind of, cash back rebate that some individuals can get. But it, that also generates a little bit of revenue that we get once a year. So it's really just, has made it a little, we're trying to make sure that it's a little easier to track down receipts and that type of thing. Or if an administrator needs their card, but the card is, being used currently because band director is, at band camp, that's just created some challenges. So we're hoping the board will entertain issuing those two additional cards. Does that answer the
Yeah.
question? Or?
Anybody else have questions about that issue? It's action item 4, and I wanted to make sure that
Yeah,
that
thank
was
you.
addressed.
They're not asking for more funds or anything like that, it's just
Right.
alignment on how the payment is, so.
Yeah.
There's a way of keeping track. Yeah. Okay. All right. If you're done, I think 75 minutes, you said?
Yeah, it was 70 the first time, 75 the second, so.
How about 7.9?
Do you guys want to sit up front, or can you see from there?
See?
Are we supposed to do?
Oh, yeah, we can.
Awesome.
My eyes are old.
What about accounts payable, Rena?
There's not, those are just reports for your
Oh, okay.
information.
So you kind of saw it with robotics here, how excited those kids were to share what they were learning. And that's, honestly, that's our goal. It doesn't have to be robotics. It can be sports, it can be band, it can be choir, it can be performances, it can be DECA, it can be any of those things. And so if we can find a way to get kids connected, we will find success. And so tonight's presentation is titled Connecting Students, Strengthening Student Belonging and Engagement. Research shows that students who feel more connected to school have higher attendance rates, better academic performance, and higher graduation and post-secondary success when compared to less connected peers. At VHS, we always start with our district mission and vision. Our mission is to maximize the success and potential of all students, and our vision is all students will graduate college and career ready.
Like every year, we have lots to celebrate, lots to be grateful for. Our student community service groups are giving back in big ways. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the presentation. And our staff and students have been awarded for their efforts once again. U.S. News and World Reports in 2025 ranked us as one of the best high schools in the country for another go-around. If you look at some of the bullets up there, this year is a little bit more exciting of an award. We were the 2,478th best high school in the country, the 80th best high school in Michigan, and then in Kalamazoo, the greater Kalamazoo metro area. So Gull Lake, Matawan, Schoolcraft, Portage Central, Portage Northern, we were number 1 according to U.S. News and World Report. So that was exciting. That's a ranking that's based on several different things. They rank in 6 categories. College readiness is 30%, state assessment proficiency is 20%, underserved student population performance is 10%, college curriculum breadth is 10%, and graduation rate is 10%. We were also awarded and ranked by Niche as one of the best high schools in 2026, and they use rigorous analysis of key statistics and millions of reviews from students and parents using data from the U.S. Department of Education. Those ranking factors include state test scores, college readiness, graduation rates, teacher quality, and high school ratings.
Awesome, and I forgot to say, if you have a question, just raise your hand, Yeah, stop us, because we want to make sure that we answer your questions and you're paying attention. Lucas, there is a quiz after the end of this, and so, yeah. VBTV is a high-energy, student-led production dedicated to capturing the pulse of our school, from the roar of the stadium to the magic of the stage to essential updates and insightful staff profiles. Our crew documents the moments that define our school year. Experience the best of first semester through the eyes of student creators.
And why should people vote for you? I'll do that for that. How do you feel coming off that big win against Plainville last week?
Feel pretty good offensively. We're really sharp, and defensively, but we can still be better.
You know, with the hard work I've put in along the few years I've been practicing my speed walking, I think I could take him down in the race.
Just so you know, he was racing me in speed walking. He lost.
And Mitchell Meyer, would you rather fart during a presentation or fart on a first day? Fart on a first day, you know? It's shown very good.
For me, it's just seeing how the community works together between the elementary school, middle school, and high school. And
Big game up against Three Rivers this week. How do you feel going into this game? We're excited. We want to make this.
I am up on it.
So VBTV, just another way to connect kids. Some of these kids are in plays, musicals, some kids are in sports, some kids, this is just what they do as they go to events and film them. And it's great. They went to News Channel 3 again a couple weeks ago and just had a blast, and not only saw what it's like to be an anchor, but they saw all the career fields behind the scene, running the cameras, running the operation stations, just setting up news articles and all that stuff. So it was great. It was just a worthwhile field trip.
Yeah, that speed walking competition, they had me set up with a GoPro and everything, and a timer, and they were really into it. We can bring a lot of culture and positivity to the school. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the scare thing was hilarious because they would tell teachers, oh, the printer's jammed. Would you please unjam the printer? So they walk up there thinking that they're unjammed, and then someone would jump out and scare them. It was.
What wasn't on there is we set up the scare. Mr. Brush and I hid in one of the production rooms, and Mr. Lindeman sat in there, and we got it back for everybody.
Yeah,
That was pretty
for
fun.
scaring all the staff.
So like I mentioned, our community outreach groups are giving back in big ways. Student Senate is coordinating multiple blood drives each school year. That involves organizing, helping, split setup, finding and checking in donors, and each donation saves 3 lives. Aim Higher did the 12 days before Christmas break, and what this was each day, each one of the 12, was a dress-up day, and to participate, you had to bring an item that corresponded with the dress-up day for donation to those in need. I think our donation boxes were filled every day, and it was a lot of fun to see those kids bring those things in and smile and have a good time and give back all in the same moment. We participated in Fill the Bus, Feed the Community this year, and this was a huge district-wide campaign, and our school and our community showed up huge. So for personal household supply items, we had 1,550.4 pounds of items donated. For food, 5,232.7 pounds of food. So for reference, the Postal Food Drive in the spring brought in 4,575 pounds. So our kids rocked it, our community rocked it. And if you look at a lot of the pictures, that's a donation room where they bring all the donations in. It's full floor to ceiling. And the buses, man, there was no space anywhere. There were donations, there was food under the seats, there were food on the seats, there were supplies everywhere, all the way to the ceiling. And our kids just loved every minute of it.
It was just it was great because what Rachel did with Aim Higher brought the whole K-12 together. Same thing, transportation, K-12, collecting food and essentials for the community. Everybody helped with it. And Karen, big kudos to you for setting up and going to Toby and Sunset in the middle school and picking up those supplies and bringing them. It was really interesting.
Finding a driver to drive.
I know, I know.
All those supplies.
That bus was full. Yeah, it took a while to unload, so it was great.
You said you'd be there in 15 minutes.
Yeah, no.
That
And I had
didn't take a lot
like
longer than
20
that,
kids.
didn't it? So last year, we had our third senior day of service. This is a dedicated time for our senior class to give back to the Vicksburg community. Aim Higher and NHS help organize the work sites for our seniors. It's always a great day of giving back. You've seen the pictures there. Our community members get involved. They come out and watch the kids and direct the kids. And it's just a great time for them to go out into the community, say thank you, and make it look as beautiful as we know it to be. This day is such a big success. We'll talk a little bit more about this later in the presentation, that we're looking for ways to expand it to all the other grade levels.
So you heard from Mr. Roy's presentation in the fall, and you see it in person or on social media, the success our athletic programs bring to our school. Beyond competitive success, athletics also provide an important point of connection and belonging for many of our students. Athletics contribute to school spirit, teamwork, and a sense of belonging, which fosters engagement. At VHS, we have 28 varsity sports, and last school year, we had 392 unique athletes. That's over half of the school. The average GPA of these athletes was a 3.48. Fine arts also provide a connection for our students. We see it in the artwork displayed throughout our halls. We'd experience it at plays and musicals, and we hear it at concerts and performances. These opportunities create belonging, pride, and engagement for our students. Fine arts classes create strong bonds among students with shared artistic interests. Group projects and performances foster teamwork and camaraderie. Students find a valued outlet for personal expression. And then multi-grade classes encourage mentorship, connection across ages. You saw that with robotics as well. If you're in English 1, you're with all freshmen. If you're in calculus, you're pretty much with all seniors. If you're in Art 1, if you're in choir, if you're in band, if you're in robotics, these classes are 9th through 12th grade classes, and our juniors and seniors are mentors for our freshmen. From Texas to Costa Rica, Canada to Ireland, and everywhere in between, Vicksburg students are proving that when learning leads the way, all the places you'll go. I should trademark that phrase.
I think that'll work.
Oh, you don't think so? Oh, yeah.
So, it's already been done.
Oh, is it really? Okay. So the Big Red Machine Marching Band recently returned from San Antonio, where they performed at the Alamo Bowl. Spanish students had a 9-day educational trip in Costa Rica last summer. DECA students attended and competed at the International Career Development Conference in Orlando. FFA members attended and competed in the National Convention in Indianapolis. ITS students attended the Stratford Festival in Ontario, Canada, and Dr. Hikus has led students on agricultural learning experiences in Africa and Ireland. That's all like in the last year. And I'm sure there's way more that I just don't know about, but these kids are traveling everywhere.
So that brings us to attendance. So over the past 4 years, on average, students who are not chronically absent miss fewer than 8 school days per year. So our positive period attendance rate averages right around 95%. So if you're looking at that chart there, that's about the average for our most recent year. And that's a good number. However, it still leaves 5% of students who are not doing that. So we're, again, looking for more ways to connect, bring them to school, create a sense of belonging so that they want to be here.
So when you look at this chart, we have 2 charts to show you. This is attendance for not chronically absent students. It's really interesting. We have a 7-period day. And if you miss first hour for 12 minutes, you're marked absent. That counts as a day being absent as according to the state.
So that's why we talk about period attendance.
Yeah.
Because if you are here for 2 through 7, but you miss first hour, it counts as a whole day.
So someone could miss 10% of the school year's 18 days. Someone could miss first hour or be late to first hour 15 times, or 15 minutes for 19 days, and they would be considered chronically absent because they missed 19 days of school. So a lot of what we're focusing on, and here's the good news. These students here are not chronically absent. They're here, this is 95%, and that's back in 2021. Our highest was our juniors, or our freshmen back in 2023-24, 96.5. That's for the full day, first through seventh hour. Not missing because of a doctor's appointment. They're here. About 95% of the time. What we're looking at is period attendance. And that's where you take all that attendance, first hour, second hour, third hour, fourth hour, fifth hour, sixth hour, seventh hour. And that's what Matt's talking about. Our period attendance is about 95%. So when you think of 95%, that's about 3 class periods in a week. So now we've got our chronically.
So over the past 4 years, on average, students who are chronically absent miss 32 school days per year. So it's about 16% of our students are defined as chronically absent by the state in 2024-25. So the state average is nearly 28%. We're about 16%, and those kids that are defined as chronically absent, they attend school right around 80 to 82%. Again, that's not the number we'd like to see, but it's, you know, that 16% of our students being defined that way, that's a massive improvement from years past. It's been around 22 to 23 before. So some of the things we're doing with connectedness, some of the things we're doing through some of our other programming, we think, we'll let you know in a year or two, is having a positive effect on our chronically absent students.
What we do know is our chronically absent students miss a lot more school than our not chronically absent students. And that's the part that we really want to work on.
So our social emotional learning team has, go
Yeah.
ahead, yeah.
Are the chronically absent students, is there a correlation between connectedness and chronically absent?
So what we've done, and we're going to look at the data Wednesday, but we've looked at our panorama survey, we looked at the DNF list, we looked at chronically absent students, and then we looked at our activities and sports. And we basically, we think of school as 3 tiers. We kind of picked that tier 3, which is that small group that were a piece of all 4 of those components. The tough part is you almost have to talk to each kid individually and look at them, because some kids are involved in stuff outside of school that we just don't know of. But if they're on the DNF list, you're chronically absent, and you're not in a club or activity, you're going to be on our list for connectedness.
And we're talking to you to find out why. Why aren't you connected? What can we do to help you? So, and that's kind of part of this team's goal this year.
Yeah.
So that social emotional learning team has quite a number of new faces than it did last year. And that's one big reason for that, is that we have a new social emotional learning and career and technical education coordinator. His name is Jason Luke. If you have not met Jason, you need to do that. He's one of the most positive, passionate individuals I've ever met. He cares deeply for kids. He worked for Vicksburg for a while in the counseling department for a number of years. He went to K-Reason. He's now back with us. And he has really centered and renewed our focus in SEL on connectedness. So those members on that SEL team, they commit to 1 meeting a month. We're working on those goals that we have established this year. All our work in SEL is based on these 5 core competencies that come from CASEL, the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. It's a nationally known research-based group, and those are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. So like I talked about, Jason has brought us a renewed focus and created a lot of passion in that SEL group, a lot of buy-in and engagement from our staff. So one of the things that we did as an SEL team this year, we developed a very informal 4-question survey for our freshmen. And we asked them 4 questions. What activities are you currently participating in or plan to participate in this year? How connected do you feel to other students? How connected do you feel to VHS staff? And what clubs or groups could we add that would be interesting, that you would be interested in joining? So the one question that I want to focus on, and the one our SEL team focused on, is how connected do you feel to VHS staff? So as of October, 60% of our freshmen said they don't feel connected to staff at Vicksburg High School. For us, that was a bit of a problem. So we're focusing on that, and our goal then is to have greater, more meaningful connections between students and staff. How are we going to do that? So increase student and staff connectedness at VHS through careers, clubs, and community service opportunities. So for careers, the SEL team, in partnership with Jason and the counseling department, are building a large current employer database for students to access. What this means is when students get ready to dip their toes into employment, we'll have a whole database of employers in the area that they can contact and get in contact with. And again, building connectedness with our counseling department, building connectedness with our community and our local businesses. Through clubs, right now we're examining our current club offerings and how to expand those. And we're identifying through student voice which new clubs we will offer next semester and in the years to come, and will help with rollout and implementation to students and staff. We're looking for ways and brainstorming ways, how can we add a club element into the normal school day? And then through community service. Like I talked about, we're looking at developing a larger group concept like the senior day of service, eventually for each grade. So each grade will have some kind of community service component in the next couple of years. And those are the main ways that we're going to build connectedness through the social emotional learning team this year.
Matt stated one of our goals was to build connection through career readiness. Research shows that real-world hands-on experiences increase student motivation and connection. Hands-on programs foster a sense of community and belonging among students, and reports also note that real-world learning helps students tackle authentic problems, deepening their engagement. So how are we going to do that? You already heard from Matt Bombick earlier, all right? We have 5 major career fields at VHS that all students can take. And so currently right now, in the career field of business, we're offering accounting and marketing. In information technology, we're offering AP computer science. In engineering, Matt is teaching applied engineering and robotics, 2 sections. In February, we're going to come to you with a course proposal for a class called Design and Build. And this will be another class that Matt's going to teach. And so
that was the robotics field that he was talking about right there. That's our new robotics field space in the robotics lab.
yeah, so when you talk about like what his field looks like, this is 2/3 of a competition field. It's just amazing how great that looks. So we're hoping to add those sections. We're going to have one of those sections will be first hour for 8th grade students to get them involved, more involved in robotics. We also offer in environmental and natural resources, zoology, botany, wildlife, and FFA. That's taught by Ms. Heyman. And we're also coming with a course proposal for hospitality and tourism. 70% of adults at some point worked in the food industry field. Should we test that theory and see how many people? How many of you worked in the food industry field at some point during, look at that, it's about 70%. So it's crazy, and we're hoping to build a great connection with the mill, and Ms. Rickers is on fire for this class. Our capstone experience is work-based learning. So students their junior and senior year can be off-campus working or volunteering and getting high school credit.
I don't know if you shared with the board about the pilot course that Mrs. Rickers is
Yeah.
going to be teaching next semester.
Yeah, so next semester she's teaching interior design, which will be awesome. And so her course schedule, I think she's going to have 2 interior design, hopefully 2 hospitality and tourism, and nutrition next school year, which will get everybody excited. So those are in-house CTE programs. Kids can take robotics multiple years if they want to. They can take design and build multiple years if they want to.
So as many of you know, the Career Connect Campus UK Reset opened this year. We have about 50 students participating in programs at the Career Connect Campus. So we have found, like Adam was talking about some of those classes, we found some of the gaps and ways that we could offer some of those things here. And then the students that can't find an opportunity like that here can go to the campus. The campus has developed some goals for their students. It's to explore various career paths through practical hands-on experience, to gain essential skills that prepare them for future employment and success, and all of their programs offer courses that align with college and industry requirements. So they're getting a lot of exposure at the campus to a lot of great things. These are all of the offerings that take place at the Career Connect campus. We took about 90 10th and 11th graders on December 16th on a tour of the campus, and they had a nice presentation prepared for them that they could find out what it has to offer and what might best fit some of their career paths. And we think that we'll have quite a few students that want to participate next year.
Is 50 more or less than projected abroad, or
50 is right in line with what we've done before. Yeah, we've had more slots. The big thing we're finding is some of the slots, we have just way too many, like culinary arts. We have a huge waiting list. Whereas other classes, they might not have as many, there's not as much demand. And then a big thing we've been struggling with is just the 4 hours in the school day. Many of the kids,
Yeah, you go to the
Yeah.
campus, you're gone for 4 hours.
yeah, 4 of 7 hours. So that's been a big struggle, and that's why we've been having to bolster our in-house CTE.
So we talked a lot about the career and technical side of things. As you remember, our vision says that all Vicksburg students will graduate college and career ready. So that's not or, that's and. So to balance our CTE offerings out, we have to have a lot in the college readiness realm. So if you look up there, we've got 19 live AP course offerings. Having this many offerings is a direct result of the desire to provide AP for all at VHS. This way we cover many interests and make AP more appealing to more students while providing more challenging opportunities for a wider range of students from varying backgrounds. We have found that this makes our AP program more robust and helps students be more successful in those courses. When I share this with some of my colleagues through MASSP, they're always floored at that list because their list is about 6 or 7.
Did you say that on purpose?
6 or 7. But it's not nearly as long as ours, and they're always wondering, how are you offering that many courses? How are you bolstering that? And it has a lot to do with our staff and their commitment to advanced placement.
When they laugh, I have to keep doing
I
it,
know,
you know?
yeah, I know. You're preaching to the choir, Mr. Brush. There are, as you know, there are lots of benefits to advanced placement. Students are more likely to succeed in college when enrolled in AP classes. 85% of colleges and universities report that a student's AP experience favorably impacts their admission decisions. And research shows students who receive a 2, now remember, if you get a 2 on an AP exam, you didn't pass. Passing is a 3. However, if you get a 2 on AP exams, it shows that you're actually ready for most college work. So it's a great indicator for a lot of our kids who might be on the fence about what their next steps might be. Students who take AP courses and exams are much more likely than their peers to complete a college degree on time. So if you'll remember, about 8 years ago, we introduced you to AP Capstone. We're in our 4th group of AP research students currently. These students, along with their teachers, help continue the strong success of VHS's AP Capstone program. And remember, to graduate from Vicksburg High School with an AP Capstone diploma, you have to take AP Seminar and Research, and you have to take those exams and pass them also. And then in addition to that, 4 more AP courses and pass those exams as well. So it's no easy feat. On the screen up there is Vicksburg High School senior Adeline Beery, and she's one of 1 high school students to present at the conference I'm going to talk to you about in just a second here. Adeline attended the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions Expo in Orlando, Florida. Through the course of her AP research project during the 24-25 school year, Adeline made connection with a leader in the field who encouraged her to apply to present at this professional conference. She's presenting alongside PhDs, master's degrees, no other high school students, just Adeline. So she's the youngest ever to present at that conference. Her research project looked into ways to measure cultural representation in theme parks. I'm going to say that again. This 16, 17-year-old was looking at ways to measure cultural representation in theme parks. I don't know about you, but at 17, I was not thinking about ways to measure cultural representation in theme parks. Her research caught the eye of others in the attractions and amusement field, and Adeline was accepted for a poster proposal at the conference. For a young person still in high school, it's a very big deal. The IAAPA Expo is the premier global attractions conference. The event gathers professionals from theme parks, water parks, zoos, other attractions across the world to share their innovations and trends. A big thanks to a grant from the Vicksburg Community Schools allowed Adeline and her mom to travel to the conference so she could present and attend various sessions. This is the field she hopes to study in college, and a huge accomplishment, all achieved due to her hard work, our staff's hard work, and the fact that she took AP Seminar and Research at Vicksburg High School.
It's just amazing because we have to thank the foundation. There's a curiosity grant that she wrote to get to go on that trip to do the presentation. Then Matt was talking about the lab space. That was a huge amount of money. The foundation helped to revitalize that lab space. And then we're going to talk about AP Honor Roll, and the foundation has helped us with staff development. When you have 19 courses and those courses change every 5 to 10 years, some of their standards change, you've got to retrain staff. And those trainings aren't at Western Michigan. They're all over the place.
And they're not optional.
Yeah.
You're teaching AP Econ, and there are new AP Econ standards. You have to be certified in those new standards.
And so it's just, that's a big thank you. Matt and I were a little disappointed because we wrote a curiosity grant to chaperone that trip to Florida, and it was denied. They said they didn't have enough funds, but
Adeline kicked Mr. Brush out of her carry-on. He didn't quite fit in.
Yeah. So we've talked about AP Honor Roll, and I wanted to make sure you guys understand what it means to reach AP Honor Roll. So it looks at 3 pieces. It looks at college culture, and so schools are recognized for increasing the percentage of students who take at least one AP exam. So we're at the 44th percentile. The big piece for college culture, when I think about this is our 23 chart, is you have to increase. So if you stay the same, you're not going to stay at that percentile. You'll actually go down and you won't make AP Honor Roll. Then you look at college credit. So people look at college credit and they see 28. That's the percentage of seniors that pass an AP exam out of the entire senior class. So you have some seniors that don't take any AP classes. It's a percentage of seniors. So 28% of our seniors pass an AP exam in the spring of 2023. And then the college optimization, that more looks at our freshmen and sophomores. It looks at how many opportunities do you have for freshmen and sophomores to get involved in AP. So if they want to get their capstone diploma as a senior, they don't have to take 6 AP courses. You can spread one out. You can have one as a freshman, one as a sophomore, maybe 2 as a junior, and 2 as a senior. And so in 2023, that spring, we were at 16% optimization. You notice they have bronze, gold, and silver, platinum. So those are the different rankings for AP Honor Roll. In 2024, we were at 45% for college culture, so we actually increased. We had more students passing an AP exam. In college credit, we went from 28% to 33%, so a third of our seniors passed an AP exam in the spring of 2024. And our college optimization went down just a touch. It went from 16 to 11. We were at bronze, silver, or gold for the 3 levels, and they give you the bronze because that was what you scored the lowest. All right? We hadn't heard about 2025. Friday, I got an email saying that we hit AP Honor Roll for the 3rd year in a row, which is just amazing. One thing you'll notice, the 2 previous years, we were bronze. For 2025, we were silver. So our college culture, we continue to increase the amount of AP exams that are passed. We're going to hit capacity. At some point, we're not going to continue to be able to keep increasing that number. 37% of our seniors, that's crazy to me, passed an AP exam. And then our college optimization was at 14. So we were at gold for college credit, gold for optimization, and silver for college culture. We cannot hit the AP Access Award because we hit it the year before. So that was something that was in the email. So we're a silver AP Honor Roll school. People had wondered, man, how many schools get recognized for AP Honor Roll? Because 2025 was just released, I don't have those figures. When I looked at 2023, there are something like 470 schools that qualify to be AP honor roll, and usually about a quarter of them make it. So if you have 4 AP classes that you have live in your high school, you're not going to qualify to be AP honor roll. You have to have a certain number of classes. But it's a huge recognition to our school, to our district. It's just a great commitment. And when you look at our numbers, and this is what I was talking about, we've seen this slide, we continue to update this slide. Back in 13-14, we were excited because we had 347 enrollments and 186 exams taken and 78 exams passed at 42%. And you'll see we continued to rise up until about COVID, and then things fell off a little bit. Part of that was our enrollment at the high school. And now as we've been building capacity, that 2023, that was the first of the 3 that we received it most recently. We had 285 exams taken. In 2024, we had 339 exams taken. In 2025, we had 410 exams taken. So last spring, we had 410 exams taken for AP. And it's like, Keith and I keep thinking about if we could go back to 2013-14 that spring and think, you're going to go from 186 to 410, in 10, 11 years. That's just amazing. What would be your percent passing? And in 14, we're at 42. By 23, we're at 52. By 24, we were at 61. And then last spring, we were over 69% passing AP exams. And we keep reiterating, we have freshmen taking U.S. history. That's a hard exam. Not many schools have that. Sophomores are taking AP Seminar and taking AP World. Not many schools allow you to do that. And then by their junior year, now they're really ready for the chemistries, the physics, the pre-calcs, the AP Lang, the AP Research. And so I'm just excited as a principal to see this and see this thing through. Most exciting, you're like, well, what about this spring? Right now, we're at 470 AP exams, and we still have to register AP Econ. So that is second semester, so kids can't even sign up. So yes, we will break a record. We'll have the most exams ever in Vicksburg High School history, which makes it good if you want to have a college culture because we're increasing the number of kids, hopefully, that pass it, right? But I just keep seeing these numbers, and I keep wondering how long until we start to level off. Now, Rick had mentioned AI, so I love it. So I threw into ChatGPT. I said, man.
If you don't know it, he talks to chat on a daily basis, like actual conversations in chat. And his chat has a real voice, and he'll say, hey, chat, and he'll have a conversation with her.
No one else will talk to me.
Multiple.
And so, so I said to chat.
Hey, literally.
Yeah, I know. So what does it mean if your high school hits AP Honor Roll 3 years in a row? And it says achieving AP Honor Roll recognition for 1 year can reflect strong student performance. Maintaining it for 2 years shows growth and commitment. Sustaining it for 3 years demonstrates a durable, systematic culture of rigor and support. Evidence that your programs, teachers, and students are consistently working together to ensure success. And so that encapsulates what we thought. I was going to say the same thing, And so it was, it was just,
I do have a lot more time. I don't have to edit nearly as much as Adam's writing.
Yeah, as a former math teacher, words do not come easy to me, right? We wanted to also talk about our SAT data because this is a big piece of college readiness. This is our current seniors. So the PSAT 10, this is what they took in the spring of their sophomore year. Their composite was a 918. The state average was an 883. When they took the SAT the spring of their junior year, so last spring, their average went up 77 points to a 995. That's the lowest average we've had since COVID. The state average was a 954. What we've talked about before is this SAT is adaptive. And what I mean by that, if you guess on the first section, you're going to get a very easy second section. And if you guess on that second section, you're going to get a quarter of those questions right. which means you're gonna get a 200 for the math and a 200 for the English, which is a 400. And that's gonna bring down your composite. I think that's a big piece. That's why the state average at one point before COVID was 1,000, and now is down to a 954. You look at our percent college ready, on the PSAT 10 when they were sophomores, 33% of the students were college ready in both math and English. On the SAT, it went up to 34%, math and English. And college ready means that you have a 75% chance of scoring a C in a English 101 or Algebra 101 class your freshman year in college. And so this is our current seniors. The good news is our juniors knocked it out of the park. And so our juniors, and this is how you earn those awards for U.S. News and World Reports. They're looking at your SAT scores. So this is the class of 2027, our current juniors. They scored a 978 on their spring PSAT 10. When you look at that, the state average for the SAT was a 954. So they're already above the juniors as sophomores. And then in the fall composite, they scored a 992 or a 982. One big difference, the state in the spring was an 884. The state in the fall was a 972. The PSAT 10 in the fall is the National Merit Qualifier. So we're one of the few high schools that gives it to every single student because we want them to have a chance at an adaptive test. We feel the more you take it, the better chance you have to be. This group is projecting somewhere between a 1050 and a 1070 composite average. Their percent college ready would be, the highest we've had is 49% if they stay. And that's where we're at right now at 49% for the spring PSAT 10, which would just be amazing. So that would put us right back up with best high schools in the region again at 49%. We've thrown a lot of data at you. The title of tonight's presentation was Connecting Students, Strengthening Student Belonging and Engagement. As you've seen and heard, all that we do at VHS is designed to support and engage our students. We are fostering connections through community outreach and student groups, unlocking potential in the classroom by challenging students academically and providing opportunities for them to explore their passions. The culture at VHS is focused on student success, building connections, growing confidence, and developing well-rounded adults. What questions do you guys have for us? And we can go back to any of the slides. Yes, Lisa.
Sorry about my.
Oh, yeah. Need some water.
Water. Last year, we talked about the SAT.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at it again this year, and we're better than the state. And just to be clear, what I'm trying to do is understand how do we improve and how can the board support, every elementary school, middle school, high school. So I was looking at SAT scores and comparing us to the state, to me, doesn't say that much because Michigan is 42nd, 44th out of 50 in academics. That's the research that I found. If I am wrong, just correct me. Okay.
There's only 7 states that I know of that give an SAT to every single student.
As their state tests.
Okay.
And so that's a big piece, like especially when you look at this chart right here, this 954, you can look and see they have a national average for that National Merit Qualifier. I want to go to it right here. Sorry, it's a 972. Because that's what I would look at, because basically most of the kids that are taking that National Merit Qualifier in the fall are college-bound students.
Yeah, what he means by that is we have all of our students taken. the other schools they're using it strictly as a national merit qualifier. They're not requiring everyone to take it. They're not requiring, they're allowing their best of the best who want to qualify for national merit only to take that test. So when we compare it to the state, we're utilizing that to say, this is our whole student body. If we compared it to those national merit numbers, that would be a very small percentage of those other schools' student body.
Well, and it's just like when I was in high school, not everybody took the SAT. So the SAT average, if you go back and look in the 90s, was way higher than it is now, because only your elite kids that were going to college were taking it.
So do you think, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Do you think that the schools around us, Galway, Matawan, Portage Northern, Portage Central, well, they're not having all their students take the SAT?
No, I would say, like, this spring, when we take the SAT, we'll be in front of all those schools, just like we were 2 years ago when we were #1 high school in the county.
So,
Lisa, yes.
Yeah.
This is the state's requirement for testing at the high school level.
In the spring, the one
Yeah.
that we did in the fall isn't required for
Yeah.
everyone.
But like when you say like Michigan's 42 out of 50 in the country, I've heard people say that. And a lot of times they're not understanding that not everybody in California is taking the SAT. So when you look at the California composite for SAT, it's way higher than ours because the kids that are taking the SAT in California are going to.
well, I don't know what that number actually represents.
Okay.
For 42, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Exactly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I asked ChatGPT that too.
Yeah,
That's,
Yeah.
I can handle that question a little bit, Lisa. The big thing about, number one, we do need to improve literacy in the state of Michigan. Hands down, that's definitely something that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Select schools in grade levels are selected to take the NWEA every year, but it's not all students in the state of Michigan. And a lot of those numbers that you are seeing are based just on that NWEA data, if
Okay,
that makes
so,
sense.
For example, Galway's SAT is 1230. That's, again, this is the data that I found, and this is from that niche report.
Yeah, there's no way it's 12:30.
Okay, well, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So if there is a gap there,
My school data, right?
what I'm, when I see it, what are they doing that they're there, that are at that level that we're not doing to get our kids at that level? Because I think
Yeah.
they sort of should be
Well,
So-
maybe the top
if,
ones.
Yeah.
for
and-
reference, if that were the correct number, we're looking at US reports, we wouldn't be #1 in Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah, no, I student taught at City High, Lisa. That's where they send all the gifted students in Grand Rapids. And their average is like 1190. It's one of the best in the country, top 5 in the state. So I'm Gull Lake.
I don't know.
I didn't pull theirs this year, but we're,
I worked there for 5 years before coming here, and we were never anywhere near 1230.
and
Well,
so,
I saw that you didn't get information from, I don't even know what NICH is. but that's
Yeah,
what the
we're
data-
awarded by niche. It's like US News and World Reports. They rank on their own criteria and their own reviews from the people that use their website and their service. So, and good recognition, but at the same time, they don't always have access to accurate data like we do.
yeah. And so, and with how SAT scores are released, kids can take them multiple times. That could have come through like where 8 or 10 kids may have taken it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have to look it up and see
A lot of
where
times
they were at.
We utilize my school data, and
Yeah.
they'll have those other schools' previous.
And I know like when we used to talk about this data before too, just not a big fan that the state uses this. It's a college readiness test. It's not necessarily a test of.
It's not a high school proficiency exam.
And the reason I'm bringing that up is because now the new the new norm is universities, many of them don't even require you to submit an SAT anymore. So how do we get the buy-in with our students to want to perform at the highest level they possibly can for 3 straight days?
And I know you guys have said that before, that the
Yeah.
SAT is not the end-all be-all, but it's not the end-all be-all for anybody, and if there's other schools that really are outperforming us, which I don't know for sure, because it looks like we're doing so much work, so much good
Yeah.
work, then how do we get there?
Yeah.
You know, what do you need from the board to support you to get these kids back, you know, to pre-COVID, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and a lot of it is just fundamental skills in reading and mathematics. And, yeah.
I wanted to just add in what the board has done. The big thing about these tests too is the timing. Like having kids understand how to actually take a test like the SAT.
Yeah.
Not get hung up on one question. So what the board has done for probably 10, 12, 14 years now is they help pay to bring in Sycamore Learning to do a 2-day training with our students on the best ways to take the SAT and be successful. So that's one thing that the board is definitely committed to over the years.
And when SAT went adaptive, Sycamore Learning Center was all over that and was able to talk to our kids about what that means and how do you prepare for that and how do you respond and why you shouldn't guess anymore on the SAT.
Right.
Yeah.
You get punished for guessing now. So those things like that are really, really, really helpful that we can continue to do.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed on your chronically absent, it seemed to be grade related, that the younger the student, the higher the percentage of kids that were chronically absent. And I was just thinking in terms of getting kids engaged, you know, earlier. And it seems like in the fine arts, they're really good at that. You know, you can be in 9th grade and you can be in your top choir. The band has got a lot of underclassmen, and so there's a lot of mentoring going on. But we don't do that with athletics. And I don't know if there's a way to be somewhat intentional about mentoring that way. I mean, there's a skill level and a size difference, and so they have to compete at different levels. But, I mean, but the fine arts have done so well, and I think kids that transition who are in the marching band, they got a leg up because they know juniors and seniors in the building. And I think there's an advantage to that, and it helps assimilate them, for lack of a better word. But I'm just thinking off the top of my head that we have one area that does really well, but another maybe we don't. And I don't know if there's a way to get those senior football players talking to the freshmen.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
Other questions, comments, clarifications, wonderings? No? Hey, thank you, guys. Thank you again.
Thank you for that presentation. That was fantastic. And one of the things I want to point out to people that our community has, that we are trying to leverage more and more, is we have a community schools foundation that is more mature. I think it may be the oldest one in the county. And it now has some resources that are significant. And then you have the Vicksburg Foundation as well, which most communities don't have that. And so we're trying to leverage that with innovation grants, with these curiosity grants, to be able to do, you know, you've got that whole robotics room redone. What, you get $60,000 worth of grant money for that?
40, yeah.
40, okay, well, inflation. But a lot of money, you know, and a lot of districts can't do that. And so to try to make opportunity of anything we can to leverage to give us a leg up, I think we're trying to do, and I think have done fairly successfully. So thank you for your presentation. All right, so this is January, which means we have to elect officers again.
Audience.
Oh, audience. Oh, that's right. Let me read my, thank you. You got to retrain me I missed a week, so you got to retrain me. So our next agenda item is for public comment. Meetings of the board are open to the public. It's time the board conducts the business of governing the school system in the public arena. This is not intended as a meeting with the public with ongoing dialogue. Staff may follow up with you regarding issues raised during comment time. Please exercise decorum and respect laws regarding privacy and defamation. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes, and I hand the gavel to Tamara so she can time you. She'll tap once when you have 10 seconds left and twice when you're done. That way I can pay attention. And we have our esteemed Mr. Morse.
Thank you, Dr. Schramer. So, hello, everyone, and thank you for listening to this month's edition of Vicksburg Excellence and Achievement. And just a couple to share with you. Indian Lake first grade teachers Amber Cousins and Julie Hughes have adjusted their approach to their math instruction and are seeing positive impacts. In an effort to best meet their students' need, they are incorporating more small group rotations so the students can work in closer connection with their teachers and each other. Mrs. Hughes and Mrs. Cousins report that this has been helping their students take more ownership and accountability to learn the skills that are being taught, and the students are so proud of their progress. So there's some basic math skills taking place in first grade. Amy Sue Manley, our middle school and high school librarian, was honored in December. She presented at a state conference for school librarians on a variety of topics, but had to do largely with school librarians who are working in multiple buildings and trying to help facilitate across districts and across many buildings. We, in the choirs, took a busload of VHS choir students to Vocal Arts Day last Saturday at the University of Michigan. Thanks to Karen and Miss Denise for providing us the transportation. And we had a great day where we got to meet up with the men's and women's glee clubs from the University of Michigan and sing with several hundred other high school students. We show up, learn music in the morning and the early afternoon, and then get to perform at Hill Auditorium and hear performances of the university glee clubs, as well as some fun, Pitch Perfect style college a cappella stuff. So it's a real blast. The kids had a good time, very well behaved as always, and got to hear and make some great music. So that is our episode today. Thanks for listening.
I should mention, I know one Vicksburg grad who was in the men's glee club at Michigan a number of years ago, and it was interesting the networking that opened up for him. You know, he did, I think, a career in business or something, and he met some Michigan alums who were more than happy to give him a leg up, and it was very interesting how those connections made a difference.
We have one now, Andrew Reno.
Okay.
Andrew Reno, he's singing in the men's glee club.
Yeah.
I got to say hi to him.
So there are other perks to being part of that other than making music, which is really interesting in terms of.
Speaking of connection, making a connection in a campus where there's 40,000 students.
Right, yeah, so that's neat. All right, now you have to do the organization of the 2026 school board. So we have to elect officers every year. So we need to elect a president and vice president. I guess we'll start with president. We need to have a nomination and a second, and then we need to vote. So
I nominate Dr. Schramer for president.
I second.
So we have Tina motion and Stephanie second.
I nominate Rick Burmeister.
Okay. I think the way that we do, if I recall, gosh, it's been a year, you got to retrain me, is I think we go one at a time, and when people get 4 votes, that's, okay, because you have to have a majority of the board.
Okay.
Yeah, so we go through one at a time, and then we can do that. But if we get somebody with 4 votes, then that person, because that's a majority of the board. I believe I remember that correctly from, yes.
Okay.
I can speak. So, we can do this, why don't we do this as a roll call then to make sure we get the numbers right. So, I've been nominated and seconded, and we should vote on that first. So Stephanie,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
Lisa,
No.
Tina,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Rick,
No.
and yes. So now we are at Vice President. We'll open for nominations.
I nominate Ron Santrafani.
I second that.
So Stephanie and Tina. Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. Stephanie?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Lisa?
No.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rick?
No.
And yes. So Ron, Dave, and Ron. Appointment of officers for treasurer and secretary. What we have done historically is have our assistant superintendent, business manager be the treasurer, and the secretary has been Tamara. I would encourage us to do that the way we've done it, as they're very, I think that just facilitates things, and they've done a very good job with that. But we need a motion and a second on that, or if other people have discussion about changing that.
I motion to continue that process.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so that would be for both treasurer and secretary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approval of the following board meeting minutes. We have two in front of us, minutes from December 8 and from December 15. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Tina,
Second.
supported by Ron. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, item 4C is the purchase card authority for the VHS band director. That's 4C1 and 4C2 for the VHS Performing Arts Center director, also of $5,000.
So moved.
Moved by Lisa,
Second.
second by Rick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. Item 4D, we have first reading. As you recall, when we do policies, there are two readings. And so this is the first reading of 6 different policies. Keevan sent an email out detailing those. 5 of those came from our policy reviewer about changes in the law. The 6th one, which is 9130, was from the committee, wanted to change the timing, particularly with an appeal to the board, because that was 15 days, which presented a real problem recently. And so lengthening that time so people have the time to review it, and also that way we don't have to call special meetings, because we'd have a longer period of time. There'd be other, because we have to have an open meeting. That gives us more time to find a slot where everybody can do that. So that was the motivation for 9130. So if the board is comfortable, we can take all of them together. If you'd rather not, we can do them one at a time.
I move we take them 1 through 6
Okay.
together.
Okay, so we have a motion from,
Support.
and we got, Lisa supported that, Tina, and this is a roll call vote. So, Stephanie?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And yes. So motion carries. And with that, I believe we are adjourned.